In the world's majestic highlands, where mountain peaks rise above the clouds, brave farmers are facing endless challenges and discoveries, raising thousands of yak cows. Not only are they livestock animals, yak cows also carry a special cultural journey. Right now, we will enter the villages located around the Himalayas, where farmers raise thousands of yak cows. In fact, it is difficult to determine an exact number of yak cows raised each year because it depends on many factors such as geographical region, weather conditions, size of the farm, and market demand. However, in Tibet, India, and Nepal, where yaks are raised the most, there are some large farms that can raise thousands of yaks. Yak originate from the Himalayan mountains, where high altitudes and harsh climatic conditions have created a strong and highly resilient breed of yak. With their thick fur, curved horns, and flexible bodies, they have become a symbol of strength and survival in difficult environments. Farmers in Tibet are not just professionals, but they are the heirs of a tradition that stretches back many centuries. These yaks graze and roam freely in the mountains during the summer months. They are brought home once in the spring to plow fields and plant beans or barley, and then they are returned to the mountains to graze until winter begins. From here, an incredible journey takes place. The villagers rode horses to find yaks and bring them back. Yak cows live scattered everywhere in the valley. Therefore, farmers have to cross many mountains to search for them. When night comes, people gather around the fire to warm up, and when the new day comes, they continue their long journey. Farmers often find yak cows in small groups of 2 to 9 animals. With many years of experience, farmers will go to places where yak cows often graze. They continue searching until they found the last yak and brought them all back to the village. December in Shaddai, a village deep in the Zanskar region of the Himalayas. As the weather cools, the rivers are starting to freeze. The people of Shaddai began to collect wood from the forests surrounding their village. This is also the time when yak cows develop their strength. They can carry huge amounts of trees on their backs and still be able to cross rough hills and mountains and go back to the village. This is also an annual event in the village. It is related to the survival of the people during the winter months. Because when temperatures drop to freezing levels, staying warm is important. To maintain a fire in the kitchen, people had to collect large amounts of wood and store it in their homes. People make full use of the space on yak backs to load firewood and other items for the trip. They also took advantage of the opportunity to get some more firewood to carry on their backs. The group of people and yak cows kept going. They traveled a long way to get here. And now, when they found firewood, they rushed back to prepare for the cold days to come. In addition to plowing fields in the spring, yak cows are also a means of transportation for Tibetans. Of course, they also take advantage of their power to transport things. Even when grazing freely, yak cows still play an important role in providing energy. After eating grass, they create dry dung in the desert, which is an excellent fuel. People would pick up yak dung like this. They used it for cooking and heating their houses. Unlike raising cattle in the lower regions, in Tibet, farmers face unique challenges. Cold climates and long winters increase pressure on natural food sources, and farmers must master the art of protecting yak herds from harsh weather conditions. The difficulties do not stop at the weather. Limited infrastructure is a challenge that farmers in Tibet must overcome every day. Difficult climbing paths make transportation difficult, posing transportation and medical challenges. However, these difficulties do not take away the passion and patience of farmers. They understand that maintaining the life of yak cows is not only a profession, but also protecting and maintaining a path of cultural heritage. High in the mountains of Nepal, farmers are grazing herds of yak cows. Most of the food for yak cows is grass and herbs that grow naturally in the Himalayan mountains. Farmers take advantage of the highland lands to create delicious grasslands, which are an important source of nutrition for yak cows. The richness of this steppe helps protect and maintain the lives of cows in harsh environments. During the breeding process, farmers often carefully take care of female yak cows to strengthen the herd and preserve genetic diversity. They are trying to get the yak mothers to breastfeed their babies. During this period, farmers also used yak milk to make butter, a famous fragrant butter tea that helped them overcome the cold in the high mountains. Spoiled butter is used to make candles for lighting. In addition, yak fur is also used by farmers to make shoes and warm coats. However, today yak is raised mainly for the purpose of providing meat. Every day, as dawn creeps across the majestic Himalayas, yak herds begin their new day. But behind the beautiful image you are seeing is the sacrifice and perseverance of farmers in daily life. In addition to grazing, farmers also milk yak to supplement their already scarce food sources, because they only eat meat on important occasions. This simple meal will help them recharge for a long day. When grazing, farmers just need to stand from afar and observe the yak cows eating and drinking. It sounds quite easy, but in fact this is the most labor-intensive job. The grass fields near their homes will eventually dry up, they will be forced to look for new areas, and the trip will get farther and farther until the grass around the village grows back. Goodbye Nepal, let's go to the mysterious land of India. Here, yak cows are not just animals, but a symbol of vitality and love between humans and majestic nature. Because farmers here raise yak cows not only for economic profit, but also to maintain balance in the high mountain environment, enrich the land and keep the land intact. The tropical climate, especially the long dry season, makes natural food sources scarce. For decades, farmers in Ladakh, India, have struggled to maintain the life of their yak herds in these harsh natural conditions. However, living in this natural environment exerts a positive influence on meat quality. Therefore, yak beef is considered a food choice with high quality and good nutrition. It has health benefits because it is low in fat, high in protein, and contains many important amino acids. The yak beef market typically targets customers looking for premium and unique food. Professional restaurants and food stores often use yak beef to create unique and attractive dishes. In the village located right under the giant mountains, the farmers are still there. They persistently work with their yak herds. All create a very special beauty for the high mountains. Hello my friends. On the vast steppe, herds of sheep and millions of goats are moving in the footsteps of nomadic herders. This is an extremely majestic and impressive scene, demonstrating the bond between humans and nature. In today's video, we will find out how they manage and take care of such a huge herd of livestock. Raising sheep and goats is a traditional profession of many nomadic peoples around the world. The purest and most famous nomads are found in the vast arid belts, passing through North Africa, Arabia, Iran, Turkestan, Tibet, and Mongolia. These nomads were leading their flocks of sheep to where they expected to find grass. Sheep travel long distances, eating natural plants and herbs. Nomadic sheep are often healthier than farm-raised sheep. This is because nomadic sheep are exposed to many different types of bacteria and viruses, which helps them develop immunity. The living environment and close natural activities are the reasons why nomadic sheep have better meat and wool quality, and often have higher economic value than farm-raised sheep. With a large number like this, nomads often let their livestock freely forage. They just need to follow behind to control the number, or stand in a high place to observe the situation and make sure there is no danger. The basic characteristics of the nomadic lifestyle are pastures, animals for breeding, survival, and movement. Together, these can provide the basic materials people need for food, clothing, and shelter. Food comes from dairy products and meat, while the men of the family bring the animals to the grazing area. The women or the elderly will stay here to prepare food. In makeshift tents, these nomads are trying to stay on the grasslands with their livestock. They left a special mark in the mountains and steppes where they passed. This wandering results from forage and water needs, which tend to be cyclical. And the sheep will follow routes that have long been established by nomads. They hope the sheep can develop in the best way without being affected by the harsh natural environment. You see, if raising livestock on farms is supported by modern technology, nomads must equip themselves with knowledge about the weather, soil, trees, and wildlife. They must also be able to lead and manage large herds of livestock. Above all, nomads need hard work and endurance, because their daily life is associated with sheep, grasslands, and cold, dark nights like this. For nomads, sleep is quite simple. They only need a blanket to fight the cold outdoors. These nomads will sleep next to their sheep to promptly protect them. When coming to rainy areas, nomads will rest in temporary tents like this. This is another important characteristic of nomadic tribes. They do not build any permanent houses to live in. Instead, they rely on tents. And nomads prioritize choosing tents with a compact design for easy disassembly and transportation like this. The long distance with many rocky slopes and mountain slopes is quite harsh for humans. After resting and eating, the nomad climbed onto the saddle and continued his journey. These are herding dogs, effective assistants of nomadic herders. They help grazing livestock follow the farmer's wishes. At the same time, it protects livestock from predators or warns herders about potential dangers in the grazing area. Free movement of sheep in grazing areas is the traditional management method of nomadic activity. The food will be GMO-free for animal feed. Everything you are seeing is a natural journey. The forest belt of Central Asia extended from 800 to 1600 km, and the southern belt of steppes stretched from Hungary to Mongolia, supporting the growth of nomadic empires. In there are herds of goats like this. Nomadic goat farming is a traditional way of life that has existed for thousands of years. It provides an important source of food and income for many ethnic minorities around the world. Here, goats are raised nomadically, mainly for meat and milk. Similar to sheep farming, in spring, when the weather is warm and rainy, nomadic herders can move their herds to highlands where there is plenty of grass. In the summer, when the weather is hot and dry, they can move their herds to lowlands where there is plenty of shade and water. Nomadic herders strive to minimize their impact on the environment. Therefore, after eating, drinking, and resting, they move their livestock to another land so as not to damage the vegetation and soil. Sunset gradually disappears behind the mountains, and when night falls, the real danger begins. Predators are always waiting for the opportunity to attack livestock. When dawn comes, nomads and herding dogs prepare to continue the day. Like a protector, he always follows closely behind his herd. When a predator attacks, the gun on his shoulder is a great weapon to protect the goats. The 45-year-old nomad said he was used to this lifestyle and couldn't live any other way. Traveling through the mountains, grazing herds of livestock, and hearing the bells of goats is wonderful. It was the only thing he had done since he was a child, and he would also teach these things to the children in the family. Unlike intensive livestock farming, in the nomadic system, no animal cruelty such as tail docking, dehorning, and tethering were allowed. Therefore, animal welfare is not much harmed compared to intensive farming. Their lifestyle is precarious because constant migration makes it impossible to transport food reserves or other necessities. Nomadic herders often create good relationships with settled people in some areas, who they will exchange for goods to sustain their journeys. You can see, with these natural, even somewhat wild, farming methods, nomadic herders have been able to raise millions of livestock, and they play a vital role in maintaining natural ecosystems and providing a source of food and income for many people around the world. In the modern world, the nomadic herders of West Asia and Central Asia are one of the few remaining minorities. They are facing many challenges, severe weather events, causing serious damage to livestock and breeders' property. However, they still stubbornly stick to their traditional profession. In the small makeshift tent on the prairie, the fire still flickered and burned forever. It is similar to the nomads' love for livestock and vast grasslands.